All right, everyone. So happy to have you here today. And thanks so much for Jeanette and the team putting on this great event here today. So here's the thing. As we all know, last year, 2020, it was a crazy year for the market. I mean, we had an incredible crash. We also had a few incredible rallies. Now, in fact, some would say that 2020 marks the year of the return of volatility as we had more 1% moves in a single day in the market than we have seen in any year in the past 3 decades. Now, to make things even more interesting, even though where we are today in the stock market, right, we're right there at an all-time high, volatility is still very elevated, which all points to what? A likely continued increase in volatility moving forward. Now, here's the thing. So many traders believe that volatility is the enemy, but I'm here today on this Saturday morning to show you how volatility is about to become your new best friend. So I do believe we are going to see volatility moving forward, and I want everyone to keep that in the back of their minds during this training here today. So what I'm about to share with you is truly incredible because after trading for over 13 years, after making over $1 million of profits trading for myself, and after working with thousands of individual traders, I have never seen the kind of results that I am going to be sharing with you today. So my team and I have found after 8 months of studying the data, after studying over 2,500 stocks and over 5 million data points, we have found something which I consider to be a breakthrough. So here's what we're going to cover during this training. I'm going to show you a non-directional 7-day trade in Facebook that has returned 2,087% with a 90% success rate. I am also going to show you how I made over $77,000 in 2 days in Expedia following specific and hidden momentum indicators in the market. I'm also going to show you how you can simply scan for opportunities like this each and every day without having to do any research yourself. I'm also going to show you how you can join me live next week for a Kickstart 2 consistency class, but most importantly, I'm going to show you how to become a much more consistent trader overnight. So my big promise to you for being a part of this training is, first of all, look, you're going to have a blast. This is a ton of fun, and I absolutely love teaching individual traders just like yourself how to get more consistent results. But ultimately, my big, bold promise is that after sitting through this training, the one you're on right now, you will never trade options the same way ever again. Just like Jason, he's loving how so many of these trades are profiting so quickly. Why? Because Jason has been taught what I'm about to teach you. Or take a look at Brad. In 4 days, 6 massive winning trades. And then he says, holy moly, Batman, this is the bomb, baby. Why? Well, because Brad has also been taught what I'm about to teach you. Or take a look at my good friend Donna. $39,982 in profits in one single week. How is this possible? Well, because Donna has also been taught what I'm about to teach you. But before I teach you exactly how to do this, I want to first make sure that you are currently in the right place. So if you are sick and tired of getting chopped up by the market and are ready to have much more consistent results moving forward, well, then this is for you. If you are confused about when to get in and when to get out and would rather know those answers days in advance, well, then this is for you too. If you finally want to generate that weekly income or are looking to achieve financial freedom, then you are in the right spot. And finally, if you need a specific and step-by-step plan and you want to avoid learning this all on your own, well, then this is for you. Why? Because this is something anyone can do, even very part-time. So guys and gals, I hope you are all starting to feel like you are in the right place. If you are in the right place, let me know in the chat box right now by giving me a big fat 44. I want to make this training as interactive as possible, so please give me a 44 in the chat box if you can say that you are in the right spot. And there we go. Happy Saturday morning. Lloyd, Carl, David, Scott, David, Michael, MB, Arnold, Bruno, Gary, Jill, Dick, Bob, and so many more. Now, my goal for this training is to make this training worth at least $5,000 to your investments. And look, these are the exact same trades I take myself and I share with my students, and they work. So there's no doubt in my mind you're going to get the kind of value if you commit with me. So my ask is that you just treat this training as if you paid $5,000 to learn this. And what that really means is, look, I know right here, right now, you have plenty of opportunity to be distracted away for recovering on this training. But if you want that $5,000 of value free out of this training, you have to limit all of your distractions and, of course, stay all the way until the end. Now, full transparency, I don't want anyone to have any anxiety about what might happen at the end of the training. We do have a community called Consistent Trader that will extend to you an exclusive invitation to you for being a part of this training with me today. But you should know, if you want to come on board later on, there are going to be a ton of incentives, such as access to my personal and proprietary scanner, as well as unlimited trade alerts, all of course at a massive, massive discount. Now, this decision will be completely up to you at the end, but I just wanted to be 100% transparent so you could focus on the training and not worry about what comes next. And again, I promise you that if you pay attention, you are going to get that $5,000 of value out of this training. Does that sound like a fair deal to you? Very cool. So who is this Stephen Brooks character who has been going on for the last handful of minutes? Well, yes, my friends, that is me in the top right corner of the screen. I am a former professional baseball player, and I did play in the Kansas City Royals organization. However, that was a former life. Since then, I have made over $1 million of profits in the stock market. I am currently an investing coach with clients all over the world who have a combined $27 million under management. I am also a traveler, a sports fanatic, and a foodie. Now, before we get into the good stuff, the lawyers, they make me write this slide. So this is our disclaimer. Number one, this is not a get rich quick type of thing. Nothing is. End of discussion. Number two, this is not effortless earnings. You will need to pay attention during the training. You will need to take notes. You will need to ask questions. And of course, you will need to take action on these methods immediately following this training. But just because my methods are less risky does not mean that they are risk-free. And finally, my results are not typical. However, I am going to walk you through the trades that I am using to get spectacular results. But please, again, folks, understand that my results are not typical. Okay, traders, we are now into the meat and potatoes of this training here today. So if you did not have out a paper and pen up before, you want to go ahead and do that now. Because on this very training, live, you'll be taught a systematic way to generate weekly income buying options without having to do any research yourself. And during this training, I am going to share with you a few specific examples of the exact trades to take to accomplish this, and the results are going to blow you all away. And the best part of this whole system may be that this can be accomplished by anyone, beginner or pro, as long as you're able to follow directions. So before we begin, I want you to know These methods, they work hands down. So I need you all to promise me something. I need you all to promise me that after I share with you exactly how to generate weekly income, that you're going to go out there and you're going to take action on that system immediately following this training. So give me a 55 in the chat box right now if you promise to take action on this system immediately following this training. Let me see those 55s in the chat box. Let me see who my action takers are on this training here today. And boy, just as I suspected, TradeThirsty, there's a ton of action takers. We have Dick and Lloyd and Jill and MB and Scott and Gary and Bruce and Larry and Carl and Michael and Ann and David and Vicky and Beverly and John and so many more. Now, let me take you back to November of 2019. At that time, I went to my data team. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a fairly large data team of data engineers. So I went to the team and I asked them the following. Can you go find me strategies that show consistent weekly profits in both bull and bear markets only by buying options? Now, I have to tell you, I assumed this assignment was going to be a piece of cake for my team. I'd given them dozens of tasks over the past few years, and they've never failed me. So the team went out there and they tried to find these times where stocks would go higher and buy calls in those cases, or when stocks would go lower and buy puts in those cases. So one of the first studies that the team ran was buying calls on stocks who had exhibited a golden cross. Now, how many of you on this training have heard of the golden cross before? Give me a yes in the chat box if you have heard of the golden cross before. Exactly, many of you have. Now, why did we focus on this golden cross first, right? Well, first, the golden cross is accepted by Wall Street as being a very bullish signal. And in fact, even Mr. Jim Cramer himself says something very similar. He says the golden cross is the ultimate bullish signal. Now, what is this golden cross, right? A golden cross is when the 50-day moving average, that is the green line that you see on the screen. When that line crosses above the 200-day moving average, which is the red line you see on the screen, right? So when that crossover happens, that is supposed to signal a bullish change in momentum. And if you were to search for charts on the internet, right? If you were to Google search golden crosses on the internet, you're likely to find chart after chart that look just like this one. You see that golden cross happen and the stock price shoots directly to the moon. So when the team went out there to run these tests to see if buying calls on these stocks who had golden crosses showed good results, I fully expected that to be the case. So here's what we did. We went out there and we ran a study. And what we did was we took the top 100 stocks based on volume. Those are your Apples of the world, your Amazons, your Walmarts, your Johnson & Johnsons, and so on and so forth. And what we did in those top stocks is we went back to the year 2005 in the data, and we would purchase call options in any of these stocks when the golden cross occurred. That's it. That's all we did. And again, I expected to see some really good stuff. But the problem was the results were weak at best. I mean, 39% win rate, an average negative return per trade. And this was, of course, surprising to me because I had really thought that the golden cross was really an accepted bullish signal. But the truth is, buying calls on a bullish signal. Now, you can't see me right now on the camera, but I'm doing quote unquote with my hands on a bullish signal, even in some of the names that have really gone up a lot over the past 15 years. It's just not a profitable strategy. The numbers don't support it. Now, of course, we didn't just stop there and throw in the towel. we researched other patterns that were also accepted as bullish signals, such as the bullish engulfing pattern, which is an accepted bullish candlestick pattern. We also looked at bullish stochastic patterns and many, many more. And the truth is, none of them showed the level of consistency or profitability for us to be able to say that we found something that worked. As we can see pretty clearly across the board, we have less than 50% win rates, and we have average negative returns per trade. These are losing strategies. So after about 2.5 months, my data team, they had found nothing. And in fact, by the middle of February of last year, my data team, they came back to me and they said this. They said, we have found nothing. And we do not think we will ever find anything that meets our criteria of a consistently profitable strategy. Now, this, of course, was both confusing and perplexing to me at the same time, so much so that on February 24th of last year, almost a year ago, my wife and I, we flew out of the greater New York City area where we live out to Scottsdale, Arizona. My wife was a sales champion for her company Zillow, and we were rewarded with a weeks-long retreat at a very nice resort all the way out in Scottsdale, Arizona, with the executives of the company and the other sales champions. Now, for many of us, right, we know exactly what February 24th, 2020 represents, right? It wasn't the day that little old me went on vacation. It was day one of the Corona crash. So my wife and I, we took this early flight out of Newark Airport out to the Phoenix Airport. And as soon as we took off and as soon as we got to cruising altitude, I opened up my laptop, I bought in-flight Wi-Fi, and I started working away. Now, less than 10 seconds into me trying to start working, my wife, so she reaches over and she slams my laptop shut and she goes, Steven, what are you doing? What could be so important that you have to be working on it right now? You are supposed to be on vacation and you have not taken a vacation in years. Please close your laptop and try to do something you've never done before and just take a day off. And I told her, I have the team, right? I call my data team the team. So I told her, I have the team. We're working on this project. We've been working on it now for close to 3 months. And we have not been able to find any profitable strategies. And I have to tell you, I could not believe this is happening because the team has never let me down before. And then she goes, okay, take me back to step one. What is the team working on and what are they trying to accomplish? And I told her, the team's trying to find me weekly option strategies that show consistent profits, and we're trying to find these times where we buy these options and they go up in value in roughly 1 week's time. And then she asked me, okay, what is an option? And I told her, an option is just a way to bet on a stock without having to own the stock itself. And then she asked me, well, how does an option get its price? And I told her, an option gets its price from many different factors, interest rates, vega, gamma. But at the end of the day, options really get their pricing from implied volatility. And then she asked me, okay, what happens to the price of an option if this implied volatility goes up or it goes down? And I told her, when implied volatility increases, the price of an option increases. Now, before I can even finish my sentence, my wife, she cuts me off and she goes, well, honey, maybe tell the team to look for times when that happens. If you're trying to find these times where options go up in value, and that happens when implied volatility increases, maybe just shift the team's focus. When she said this to me, I thought to myself, you know what? Trading is supposed to be simple. And her suggestion, it is very simple. And so many traders have such a bad habit of making it way more complicated than it should be. So I took her simple suggestion and I asked my team in an email, rather than trying to find me times where stocks go higher and buy calls in those cases, let's go ahead and instead find me times when implied volatility would increase. Now, after I sent that email over to my team, yes, I did close my laptop. I was supposed to be on vacation, and I thought it was a good time to start acting like it. So I closed my laptop for the remainder of the flight, and I did not check my email until we arrived at the hotel a few hours later. Now, when we did arrive at the hotel, here was the email that was sitting at the top of my inbox. It was from Justin, my lead data scientist, and it reads like this. Boss, go look at the Google file I just sent you. I think we did it. We found a technical pattern that resulted in an 8.5-point increase in implied volatility over a week or so period. The results from this single study are better than anything we have found for you in the past and will blow you away. And then he follows up with this, because remember, this is all going down when I'm 30,000 feet in a tin can in the sky during day one of the Corona crash. So he goes, also, in case you're not aware, coronavirus has finally gotten the market's attention. You're probably watching a movie right now, but the Dow is down over 1,000 points. I hope you have a safe rest of your flight. Now, what about this email was so important? It is the second sentence. I'll read it again. We found a technical pattern that resulted in an 8.5-point increase in implied volatility over a week or so period. Now, why is this 8.5-point increase, again, in implied volatility, why is it such a big deal? With the top portion of the screen right now, we can see a very simple call option in Facebook, currently trading for $5.50. But below that, we have simulated what happens to the value of that option if implied volatility is increased by 8.5 points. And as we can see, without the stock doing anything at all, the value of our option has increased by nearly 40%. So what was this amazing setup that the team found? So here it is. When the stock price goes from above to below the 200-day moving average. And when that happens, if the stock price is also below its 10-day exponential moving average, when this has happened historically, we have seen an 8.5-point increase in implied volatility in about a week or so time. Now, we saw this happen last year in Kinder Morgan, KMI. What did we see? We see the stock price go from above to below that 200-day moving average, and at the same time, it is also below that 10-day exponential moving average. And when that happens, what happens to implied volatility? Of course, as we can see, it rockets higher. But the really impressive thing about this particular setup is that implied volatility does not just increase when the price of the stock goes down, because last year we saw the same thing happen in Mondelez, except in this case, the stock went higher and implied volatility still increased. So when this happens, what do? We buy a 14-day strangle. Now, even if you don't know what a strangle is, don't worry, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is buy a call and a put at the same time. Very simple. So going all the way back to Facebook's IPO in 2012, if we just went out there every 2 weeks and placed this trade, as we can see, the results are not very good at all, right? We have a less than 50% win rate. And of course, that average trade is basically break even, or maybe even less than break even when you factor in things like commissions. Again, these results, the ones we're looking at right now, are doing this trade every 2 weeks, rain or shine. But remember, my data team was very excited about the new way they were looking at the data when implied volatility would be increasing. So since 2012, instead of just placing this trade every 2 weeks and hoping for the best, we placed this trade at the right time when we knew implied volatility would be increasing. And take a look, my friends, at the drastic difference in results. Just by doing it at the right time, we were able to take that win rate from 47% up to 90%. The average trade from break even to over 200% per trade. And the kicker is we're only in the trade for roughly 7 days. So the question is, how many of you would like to see this type of growth in a year, let alone just 7 days? Give me a me in the chat box if you would like to see these type of results in your trading account. Exactly, like Bob and David and Jill and Gary and Raul and Dick and MB and so many more. Now, if you like that, take a look at this one, because the really amazing thing about this trade is it does not matter if the stock goes up or the stock goes down, because out of those 10 trades, 6 out of 10 times the stock went higher. 4 out of 10 times the stock went lower. Since Facebook's IPO, of course, the stock has grown significantly, nearly 600%. That means if you had invested $1,000 into Facebook's IPO, that $1,000 would have turned into nearly $6,000. $5,000 invested in Facebook's IPO would have turned into nearly $30,000. And $10,000 invested in Facebook's IPO would have turned into nearly $60,000. But to get those big returns, you'd have had to stomach a 52% loss in 2012, a 40% loss in 2018, and a 34% loss in 2020. But instead of going through all of that, if you had just purchased options at the right time, when implied volatility is set to increase, the results are on a completely different planet. Because instead of putting $1,000 into Facebook's IPO, if you took that $1,000 and placed just 10 trades in Facebook, that $1,000 would have turned into over $20,000. $5,000 in just 10 trades in Facebook would have turned into over $100,000. And even better, $10,000 in just 10 trades in Facebook would have turned into over $200,000. If I can come up with a very good real world analogy for what implied volatility is, I would say it is like an escalator that is going down. Like you're at the mall and there's an escalator going from the second floor down to the food court on the first floor. When you're going out there each day, willy-nilly, buying calls on stocks that you hope to go higher and buying puts on stocks that you hope to go lower, it is like you are walking up an escalator that is going down. Of course, it's very challenging to do because the escalator is working against you. Implied volatility or that escalator are always working against us in this scenario. If you are a struggling trader, I want you to know this is not your fault. It's very easy to fall into this very trap. Your account feels like something is dragging it lower and lower and lower. It is that escalator working against you. It is implied volatility working against your options. But of course, as we all know, it is much easier for us to get where we want to be when we have implied volatility or the escalator going in our direction. Think about it this way. It is like sailing with the wind as opposed to sailing against the wind. It is like rowing downstream as opposed to rowing upstream. And it also is the exact reason for how we were able to take the exact same trade, just doing it at the right time, when implied volatility is set to increase, it drastically increases our results. This, of course, was my giant aha moment. Now, quickly, let's go back to that first study, because remember, we were going out there looking to buy options on these supposed bullish patterns, and just by doing that, the results were not very good. But ask yourself this: why were the results so poor? Well, it was because we were not factoring in the need to buy options only when we have implied volatility going in our favor. So the question is, what did the results look like to this initial study when we realize the missing key to the entire equation? Because remember, we bought calls in some very, very, very bullish stocks, and it didn't work out very well. But just by buying options at the right time, when implied volatility is set to increase, now we're cooking. Clearly, buying options at the right time, when implied volatility is set to increase, or when we have the wind at our backs, we have tremendously better success. Now, the most obvious next question is, well, what do we do from here? The average trader likely wakes up every morning. Maybe they'll read like the Wall Street Journal or Investors Business Daily. Then what they'll do is they will turn on CNBC or Bloomberg to determine what's going on in the markets. Then after that, they are likely to log into their online brokerage account and start going through chart after chart after chart after chart after chart. Now, I call this the average trader's daily research routine. Now, get a load of this one. You're going to get a kick out of this one. According to our friends at TradeThirsty, the average stay-at-home trader is spending 2 hours and 13 minutes a day just doing research. Now, my friends, we're not trying to be professional researchers. We're trying to go out there and we're trying to generate a profit. Now, based on those same numbers provided to us by TradeThirsty, that means the average trader is spending over 10 hours a week just doing research, or over 500 hours a year just doing research. I am sure you can completely understand why so many traders feel like they don't have enough time to trade. The problem is that by trading this way, you have to do new research every single day and, of course, spend countless hours doing so. But I am here today to tell you that if you are one of those traders out there who is constantly doing research every day, you're reading financial news, you're studying all those charts, well, then you, my friend, are trading backwards. That's right. You are trading backwards because, again, the old way is you wake up and you read the financial news. Then you'll watch some financial television, whether it's, Fox Business or it's CNBC. And then what you'll do is you will analyze countless charts, dozens of charts. You're going to draw trend line after trend line to those charts. You're going to add indicator after indicator to those charts. And then after you spend a few hours doing all of that research, maybe then you'll actually place a trade. And then whether you place that trade or not, in order to find a new one, you have to go back to step one. But that's the old way. That's trading backwards. And I told you, trading should be simple. And the old way, well, of course, it's not very simple. But how about the new way? Well, we do the research once, not for hours each day, once. Remember, my team ran that study in Facebook and it had, of course, fantastic results. We only did that research once and we only need to do that research just one time. So after we do the research once, then what do? We add the trade to a scanner and the scanner is doing the research for us each and every day. And then what do? We sit back, we relax, and we wait for the scanner to tell us to take a trade or not. Now, the new way, doing the research once, adding it to the scanner, having the scanner do the research for you, it really solves a lot of problems that the average trader has on a given day. Because to me, the new way with the scanner, it solves three major problems. Problem number one, I don't know which kind of trade to place. Now, of course, I have developed a proprietary scanner for these trades, and on the scanner, it literally tells you the exact trade to take. This is a screenshot from my scanner, and when you hover over a trade, it literally tells you the exact trade to place. I don't know what trade to place. Problem solved. But that is not the only problem that a scanner like this solves for. It also solves the problem of I don't know when to get in and when to get out. Why? Because the scanner tells you right there exactly when to get in and exactly when to get out before you've even placed the trade. Problem solved again. Now, the third problem that a scanner like this solves for is I don't feel confident in my trade. Well, the scanner gives you right there on the page the historical results for placing that trade in that stock. So, for example, we can see KMI has shown up in the scanner. And as we can also see, its previous results for this trade are very, very good. And remember, before this, the scanner has told you the exact trade to take. It has told you exactly when to get in and exactly when to get out. So all you have to do is just place the trade. Same thing with Starbucks. You already know the trade. You already know the entry. You already know the exit. And you see that doing this trade in Starbucks, even during the financial crisis, had a 100% win rate. So all you have to do is just place the trade. Now, as most of you know, when I find a new trade or new strategy that looks to work very well on a paper, yes, of course, I do try it out myself. But one of the things that I really like to do is I like to try them out on somebody who has zero trading experience. Because if I can teach that person how to do well, anyone who can follow simple step-by-step instructions should be able to excel as well. So in this situation, I asked my younger brother, David, if he would be willing to help me out. So I sent him this email, and it said this: David, I just came across a bunch of really strong trading strategies that look to work very well, and I'd like for you to be my guinea pig and try them out. These strategies require very little money to do, so I added just $500 to a trading account for you. I know you're busy with work, so I created a scanner for you that will give you the results of just two of these trades. One where you buy a 3-day call and one where you buy a 14-day put. We can chat more about it later, but each day you can just check the scanner at the same time, put in the trades, and be done. Sound good? A little bit later, he accepted by saying, sure, as long as we can do the first trade together. So on May 15th of last year, the scanner showed that Expedia was in a setup that also resulted in an increase in implied volatility, and buying a simple 3-day call at the proper strike and the proper expiration in Expedia over the past 10 years gave some very good results. And of course, even though back in 2017, the price of Expedia was higher, the stock has still risen 383% in the last 10 years. So in theory, we should expect to see that buying 3-day calls in this kind of stock would show very good results. And of course, when we just go out there in Expedia and buy calls every 3 days, even in a stock that has nearly gone up 400%, the results are not great at all. But by knowing the right time to buy these options, when implied volatility is set to increase, as we can see, it makes all the difference in the world. And remember, the agreement that was set between my younger brother and myself was this: we would do the first trade together. So when Expedia showed up in my scanner on May 15th of last year, we both took the exact same trade. And in just 3 trading days, I had made over $77,000 in profits in just one single trade. It is truly amazing what your results can be when you know the right time to buy options. So my younger brother went out there and he sent me an email about a month later, okay? And it reads like this. Hey, so the account has already doubled and it's a little more than $1,000 in it right now. I have checked the scanner only 3 times a week and have done 9 trades so far, and he listed them below. And then he says this at the bottom. He says, all in all, I would say I imagine for trading, it does not get any easier than this. I just looked at the scanner around 3 o'clock, 3 times a week, and took the trades that showed up in those 2 columns that you created for me. Thanks. I'll take you to sushi with the profits if you want. Now, with this email, he also sent me an attachment that showed that my younger brother, who had 0 trading experience, by following my step-by-step instructions and using the scanner 3 times a week, was able to have a 106% return on his entire portfolio. Give me a 106 in the chat box if you think that a 106% return in 1 single month is a fantastic result. Let me see those 106s in the chat box right now. Exactly. MB, Dick, Gary, Bob, Arnold, Larry, Carl, David, John, Scott, David, Raul, and so many more. Now let's recap what we have gone over so far. We first talked about how even in the most bullish patterns that Wall Street has to offer, buying calls in those cases is a losing strategy. But by buying options at the right time, when implied volatility is set to increase, well, the results are on a completely different planet. And then we talked about how the old way of trading, right? Spending countless hours researching new trades every single day, talking yourself out of placing trades and missing out on huge profit potential, that is just a thing of the past. Because the new way, the simple way, of doing the research once and then adding the trade to a scanner, it not only saves you a ton of time, but it gives you a ton of focus and a ton of clarity. So at the beginning of this training, I promised you that you would learn new ideas that would start making you money immediately, whether you are a beginner or pro. So I have to ask you, was our time together valuable? Did you enjoy this training? Do you understand now how I'm able to do what I do in the stock market, and some of my students are able to get such massive results? And can you see how this system will allow you to profit immediately, whether you are a beginner or pro? And do you see how little time and knowledge is really needed to invest? Because here's the deal. I have complete confidence in you. Why? Because you promised me that you were going to go out there and you were going to take action on this system immediately following this training. And while we did spend about 45 minutes together and go over a few exceptional trades, there's only so much we can go over. Imagine spending more time together, how much more valuable that would be to you. Now, in the beginning, I also promised you an opportunity to join me in taking your next steps together by joining our Consistent Trader program, which is designed to give you the exact step-by-step formula for generating weekly income. So, are you ready to see what we have put together for you and how you can start to utilize this immediately? Because as you probably know by now, I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to make this as easy as possible, but most importantly, I'm here to make sure that you consistently make more money moving forward than you ever have before. And because this is exactly what you have been looking for, and the timing in the market has never been better, I want to bring you on board today as one of my VIP members, and we're going to call this Consistent Trader for those of you who are looking to become consistent traders today. So my friends, here's what's finally going to work for you. The first thing you're going to get with Consistent Trader are my options buying trade setups. Now, in the program, we currently have 16 different methods that show very good results, like a 7-day trade that had a 50% return per trade in 2020, or a 14-day trade that had a 53% return per trade. Now, these results, the ones we're looking at, they are not based off of me cherry picking, one good trade over here or one good trade over there. These are the average results from the average return from our back test of over 10,000 individual trades. And of course, these methods do not just look great on paper, they also work very well in the real world. Just ask Nita on one day, 200+% winner in JP Morgan, 200+% winner in Citrix, 300+% winner in eBay. Or take a look at Tom, $2,900 in profits in just 4 days. And that was enough to cover his mortgage for the month. When we normally sell this program, we normally sell it as the trade setups only. But I love working with action takers like Tom because it is students like Tom who go on to get the greatest success because they do not hesitate in the market. So for the first 50 new members today who are action takers like Tom, I want to give you multiple very special one-time only bonuses. So with Consistent Trader, yes, you're going to get the trade setups. But for my first 50 action takers, you're also going to have access to my personal and proprietary scanner. Remember, I don't want you to have to do any research yourself. Of course, I am going to share with you the exact trades, but even then, if you don't want to do any research yourself, you can just look at our scanner each day and the scanner will do all the research for you. Remember, the scanner solves the problem of I don't know what kind of trade to place because the scanner just tells you. It solves the problem of I don't know when to get in and when to get out because the scanner tells you exactly when to get in and exactly when to get out before you even place the trade. And of course, it solves the problem of I don't feel confident in my trade because the scanner gives you right there the historical data of those stocks on those trades. And of course, my members love the scanner. How could they not? Look at Carl, 80% profit in 2 hours in Starbucks. Why? Because he found it in the scanner. Take a look at Doug. This is the place to double an account. I have an account that went from $5,000 to $12,000 last month from Steven and scanner trades. Or take a look at Aaron. As for Consistent Trader, since the scanner went live less than 2 weeks ago, I have now closed 24 trades with 21 winners and just 3 losers for a total profit after commission, $32,485 in 11 calendar days. That is just nuts. This scanner cost me $25,000 to make. But if you are one of my first 50 action takers, you get this totally for free. So with Consistent Trader, yes, you get the trade setups. But for my first 50 action takers, you also get access to my personal and proprietary scanner. On top of that, for our first 50 action takers, you have 24/7 access to our members-only Facebook group. But for my first 50 action takers, we're not even close to being done. Because as a bonus, I want to provide you with unlimited trade alerts. Here's an example of one of the alerts you may get from us. We give you the stock, the type of trade, the expiration, the entry price, the profit target, and the stop loss, and an explanation of why we placed that trade. We send these directly to your email. In our other programs, we normally charge an additional cost to receive text message alerts directly to your phone, but not for my first 50 action takers today, because for you, we are going to instantly upgrade you to receive not only email trade alerts, but also text message alerts directly to your phone. Now, the question we always get is, Steven, how good are your alerts? Well, you tell me. We opened this program in August of 2020. So here is every single alert we sent out as a part of this program in 2020. We have a bunch of winning trades. We also do have some losing trades, but the result of that is a 30.86% return per alert. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. That means if you started with us in last August with just $1,000 and followed all of my alerts, that $1,000 would have turned into $10,815. And my members love the alerts. Look at Ron. Steven's CCL trade from yesterday, 86% profit overnight. Or George, thank you for the IBM call. I made a 235% profit in 3 days. And he loves Consistent Trader. Or Way, 448% profit, my biggest winner ever. Steven has really been on a tear lately. Thanks for another big winner. So again, we sell this on our website every single day for just the trade setups. But for my first 50 action takers today, access to my personal scanner, members only Facebook group, unlimited trade alerts, not just to your email, but also to your phone. But we're still not done yet. Why? Because when you enroll in Consistent Trader today, I want you to hit the ground running, but I want to do it together. So you're going to join me next week for a Kickstart class. And on that class, live, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to place each of our trades, exactly how to build a powerhouse portfolio, exactly how to compound your profits. But the biggest and most critical thing we're going to cover on that Kickstart class are the best right now opportunities that you do not want to miss. Here's a couple of trades that are coming up in the very short term. A 3-day trade in NVIDIA that returns 47% per trade. A 7-day trade in JD that returns 82% per trade. A 3-day trade in CrowdStrike that returns 181% per trade. And there are many more incredible right now trading opportunities that you do not want to miss. So the total value of Consistent Trader, $18,182. But as you guys also know, I am not going to charge you $18,182 to get access to my scanner, to unlimited trade alerts, to the Kickstart class. But I have a question for you. What if I did charge you $18,182? Then would it be worth it? Because if all this did was allow you to not have to do any research yourself, then would it be worth it, right? To not have to do any research yourself and be gifted with incredible trading opportunities just like this, then would it be worth it? 10 times out of 10, absolutely, it would be worth it. Now, if all this did was prevent you from buying options at the wrong time and teach you how to buy the right options at the right time, then would this be worth it? Absolutely, yes, and yes, it would definitely be worth it. And if all this did was allow you to not miss out on any trades that I sent out because of your instant upgrade to our SMS alerts, then would it be worth the investment? Like, ask yourself this: would it be worth it to see the exact trades that I take, the exact ones which allowed me to make over $337,000 in just 5 months of trading in 2020 in my real money personal trading account? Then would it be worth it? 1 million times out of a million. And I told you at the start of this training, I would not charge you an arm and a leg. I told you that all I really wanted was for you to cover my cost, right? My cost of my time that I put in to make this possible. My cost of my team of data scientists who spent hours upon hours and days upon days coming up with this cutting edge information that will allow all of you to become consistent traders today. So you can see why this is a steal, even at $18,182. And as I told you before, we sell this every day on our website for just the trade setups only, and we normally charge $1,997. But I was thinking to myself, this is the TradeThirsty family. These are my action takers. I want to not only stack the value with 5 incredible bonuses like we already have, but I also want to make this such an amazing deal for our VIP members today. So I decided to give everyone an instant $500 savings to their purchase today. But then I thought to myself this morning, literally, you know what, Steven? A $500 discount is great. But what if we double that here today, and instead of giving everyone a $500 discount, we double that to $1,000? But then I thought to myself, 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I know these attendees who come are going to be chock full of action takers. So for the best, most serious first 10 action takers, I am also going to provide you with a free one-on-one consultation with me. So my friends, you can get started today for $997. But instead of having to pay a subscription, we're going to offer this to you as a nice and simple one-time payment if you are one of our first 50 action takers. So open up those browser tabs, head on over to stevenbrooks.co/consistent and invest in yourself today. Now, really quickly, if you're sitting there thinking that $997 is too much of a one-time payment, first take a look at the results from our beta testers. Okay, question number 1. In your first month in Consistent Trader, have you generated a profit? 45 out of 50 respondents said yes. That's 90%. 1 out of 50 respondents said no. That's 2%. Not too bad. Question number 2. If you have generated a profit with Consistent Trader, how much? 75% of our respondents from our beta testers made more than $1,000 in their first month. Not too bad either. But take a look at this one. If you have made your money back with Consistent Trader, how quickly did you do that? More than 50% of our respondents made their money back in the first 2 weeks. And again, here's what you're going to get today. You're going to get the trade setups. Again, we sell that every day on our website for $1,997 for just the trade setups, but not today. For our first 50 action takers, access to my personal scanner, the one that cost me $25,000 to make. Members only Facebook group. Unlimited trade alerts, not just to your email, but also to your phone, and a Kickstart class live this week so you can hit the ground running and we can do it together. $997 as a one-time payment if you are one of our 50 action takers today. So open up those browser tabs, head on over to stevenbrooks.co/consistent and invest in yourself today. Now, we have done a deal with PayPal to extend credit. So here's how it goes. When you head on over to stevenbrooks.co/consistent, there's going to be a blue button on the bottom of the page that says Pay with PayPal. If you click on that button, you'll be sent over to PayPal. And if you check out via PayPal credit, PayPal will give us the $997 investment today, and then you will enter into a payment plan with payments as low as $27 a month. So if you would like to get started today and pay later, PayPal credit may be a great opportunity for you. Unfortunately, PayPal only extends credit to our US customers, but our international customers can still check out via credit card. So that is the training, ladies and gentlemen. I know, talking to Jeanette a little bit earlier, she was going to give me a couple extra minutes today to do a little bit of a Q&A. So we're going to do a Q&A here for about 6 or 7 minutes. What I'm going to do really briefly is I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm going to check and see how many of these slots we still have available, and then I'll come back and we'll do about a 7-minute Q&A here. So please bear with me for about 10 seconds, and then I'll come back and I'll answer all your questions as quickly as I can. Okay, my friends, we just posted into the chat box how many of our bonus slots we still have available today. Can somebody please do me a solid? Can somebody please give me a yes in the chat box if you were able to see how many of these bonus slots we still have available here today? All right, question number one comes from Derek. Can someone assist me in downloading the scanner? So Derek, there's nothing that you need to download to be able to use the scanner. You do not need a specific online brokerage, right? You don't need to download anything. All you need to be able to access the scanner is internet access. It's a website. So for example, many of our members of this program have full-time day jobs. So what they do is during their lunch break, they pull up the scanner on their phone, they take a look at the scanner, they pick out a couple trades, and they're done with the day. So again, there's no need to download anything when it comes to the scanner. There's no specific online brokerage account that you need. All you need is internet access, and you can view the scanner. So if you enroll today, for example, the second module in the entire program is scanner. You could see the scanner right there, and once you enroll in the program, you have 24/7 access to it. Question from Robert. Do you do any spread trading? So Robert, we do not do any spread trading. We either buy calls or buy puts. So we don't do any spread trading. We don't do any iron condors. We don't do any credit spreads. We either buy calls or we either buy puts. That's it. So you don't need any margin to be able to do this. You don't need a big account at all. In fact, one of the alerts that we did this week was to buy an option for $130. So as long as you had $130 in your account, you could have participated in this trade. That's one of the benefits of just buying options. It's zero barrier to entry. All you need is the money in the account. Question from Ricardo. How much money do I have to get started? I would say realistically, you want to start with at least $500 in your trading account. Okay, realistically, you want to start with about $500. Our members of this program have between $500 and $5 million. So as long as you're between any of that, that's totally fine for what we do. Question from Mary Ellen. I know you. I've been a part of this program now for a couple of months, and at this price, I feel like you are giving this away for free, Stephen. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Mary, and I'm glad you're doing so well with the program. Let me say a couple of things. I know 2020 was a very challenging year for many people, not just in the United States, but all over the world. So what we want to do is this. I want 2021 to be the year that you get it, that you develop a skill that you can use every single year to be financially free and financially independent. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to cut our price in half, and we're going to add 5 incredible bonuses. Access to the scanner, members only group, unlimited trade alerts, not just to your email, but also to your phone, and a Kickstart class. And again, my friends, this is $997 as a one-time payment. So once you enroll in the program today, there will never be an additional cost to you to maintain your membership in this program. So again, it's $997 as a one-time payment, and that's all she wrote. So once you enroll in the program today, again, there's never going to be an additional cost to you to maintain your membership in this program. Let's see. Vicky says, how quickly do these trades need to be placed after you send the alert? Great question, Vicky, and I'm very happy that you asked that question. So everyone has access to the scanner, just how I have access to the scanner. And everyone who's a member of this program, everyone knows the exact criteria for why I would go ahead and place a trade. So in many of our cases, Vicky, most of our members are entering trades before I send them out as an alert, because they know the exact criteria I look for from the scanner. So it's a very fascinating thing, because in a lot of programs, you get an alert, you check the price, and the price has just ran away. But not with this program, because for a lot of times, you will be able to get into the trades before I do, because we're looking at the exact same scanner as one another, and you all know the criteria, right? You all know the criteria of the trades that I get. Is this okay if I live outside of the United States? Yes. Again, when it comes to just buying calls or just buying puts, there's zero barrier to entry. All you need is the money in the account. How many alerts per week? Some weeks it's a little bit more, some weeks it's a little bit less, but our long running average is about 3 alerts per week. Stephen, how are your members of this program getting such amazing results? So very simple. And this program is not for everyone. I want to be very honest about it. This program is not for everyone. There's 2 things I need from everyone before they enroll in this program. Number 1, they are action takers. Number 2, they are able to follow step-by-step instructions. Because if you can do that, you can be like Paulette or Tori or George or Gerard or Mark or Robert or Rodney or Jaron or Kevin or Donna or John or Robert or Dennis or Kishon or Steve or Jared, Robert, and so many more. It's like a broken record. I can just keep on doing this forever. So again, if you really want 2021 to have better results than you had last year, you're not going to get there via osmosis. You're not going to get there doing the exact same thing you've done in the past. You're only going to do it by doing something a little bit different. And I want to offer you the ability to work with me for a one-time price, a heavily discounted price with 5 amazing bonuses to make 2021 the year that you develop a skill that you can use every single year moving forward to be financially independent. My time is up here, ladies and gentlemen. Jeanette, thank you so much and the TradeThirsty family for having me today, and for all the attendees who are fantastic participants in this training here today. I thank you so very much.